Hi, I'm Colonel Michael A. Williams. I am the Detention Division Commander. Well, had been in the military for 4 years, and my indeterminate service was almost up. And 6 months prior to my ETS, I knew I was coming home. I was done with serving our country, but I wanted to do something to continue to help people and protect and serve. It was such an honorable notion at the time. I was young, and I believed in everything that I believed in, that protecting and serving. My father's father served in the military, and I just wanted to continue that service. My steps have truly been ordered by God. I know it sounds cliche, but I was born and raised here in Marietta, Georgia. Went off to the military, and when I came back home, I had no idea I really wanted to serve as a police officer, peace officer. The day of my interview, I remember it was an older gentleman that came out of the interview right before me. I'm not sure if they told him he didn't get the job. From the sound of his tone, I think that's what took place. But he looked at me and he told me, "Don't waste your time. They're not hiring any black people." And I said, "Well, I'm already here. I'm gonna give it a shot." Went in and did the interview process, and here I am, 34 years later, the commander of the largest division at the sheriff's office. My steps have truly been ordered by God, and I'm blessed to not only serve the city and town that I grew up and born and raised in, but I feel that what makes me special and different truly is my ability to relate with all people. I was one of the early deputies to work for the Cobb County Sheriff's Office, but the road had already been plowed, if you will. I would like to think that I put another layer on the pavement by continuing the excellence that was before me, and it's really kind of it's a weight, but I carry it proudly because I know if I can do a good job, it shows maybe people that doubted me, that others can follow behind me and do just as well, if not a better job than I have. I have many mentors, black and white, but one that stands out to me is a Colonel Janet Prince. Now, she was one of the people that I spoke to you about earlier. She was the first African-American lieutenant, first African-American to reach the rank of major, and I had the luxury and privilege of serving under her command as a sergeant at the Cobb County Adult Detention Center. And I watched how she moved, and I used to say to myself, why is Lieutenant Prince up at 3 in the morning sending emails? Does she ever rest? And why does Lieutenant Prince insist on looking at all of the inmate letters? Why does she want to read them herself? And I really looked at it as odd, but now that I hold the role that she held so admirably, I understand exactly why I send emails at 3 o'clock in the morning. I never had the nerve to ask her, but I have so much more clarity. And I'm an alone time. When I'm at work, I'm phones are ringing, people having questions. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I have clarity. And oftentimes I receive the emails during business hours, but where I may have had a negative response at 2 in the afternoon, at 2 or 3 in the morning, I find peace and I find tranquility. And even though I used to question my mentor, Colonel Prince, now I see clearly why she did it. And I see also why she would read all of the inmate mail, because within that mail, you're able to tell so much about how your staff is treating the inmate. So now I read inmate mail as well. My day starts, I don't really know sometimes when my day ends and when it starts, but somewhere in between there I get a little overwhelming task at times, because you deal with, I walk around, I know my people and I care about my people, but I may go to one area where a young man is just newlywed, has just had his first child, and he's on top of the world. I remember that feeling when I was a young man as well. And then I can go to the next cell or pod, and that particular deputy in that pod, his wife may be suffering from cancer, and the highs and lows that I must exalt one deputy and congratulate him and his wife on the birth of their newborn. 10 minutes later, I can find myself shedding a tear with one of my deputies, and although I have never walked in those shoes, which also makes the task even taller, but what I can do is show empathy, and that I care for these people. I think a legacy is a bit much of a term, but however, what I do want people to remember me by and remember me for is that I care. I care about them. Coming up through the ranks, I don't fault people. It actually gave me strength, but I feel like had I a lot of things I felt like I had to do, because one, it was the right thing to do, but there was very little room for error. But we all know that none of us are perfect, and I would like to for people to remember me for being fair and being understanding and treating everyone the same. I'm able to matriculate the many highs and lows, ebbs and flows on a daily basis. But what really caught my eye, what really kind of put it into place for me one day, we often ride by big buildings and things, and we're like, oh, that's nice. But one evening, I was not even at work, and I was driving down County Services Parkway, and a friend of mine, I was with a friend, and they said, there's your building. And I looked to my left, and I saw this monstrosity called the Cobb County Adult Detention Center, and it kind of put it in perspective for me. And it actually overwhelmed me, and I looked at a 20-story building housed with many people's loved ones, and the people that work for the Cobb County Sheriff's Office tasked with taking care of them. And it was almost, it was scary. I was like, wow, I'm responsible for each and every individual's safety in that facility. Not only my deputies, but the people that are incarcerated in there. And it shined a different light on it from a completely different perspective. I was looking at it from afar as opposed to walking the halls like I do every day. And it was pretty amazing. And it was like, wow, I'm responsible for some pretty serious stuff. And I welcome the task, and I pray every day that God guides me.